For this scene analysis, I'm looking at the moment where Dr. Mendez explains how the infection works in Pontypool. I think this is the most important scene because it's the moment where the film stops being a normal zombie movie and starts becoming a story about language, communication, and media. At the beginning of the scene, Mendez explains that the virus doesn't infect people simply because they hear a word. It infects them when they hear a word and understand it. It's a really important distinction because noise isn't dangerous. Random sounds aren't dangerous. Even hearing the word itself isn't necessarily dangerous, but the danger comes from the meaning. The moment a word successfully lands in someone's mind and makes sense is when the infection can take hold of them. That idea changes how we're supposed to think about zombies in this movie. Most zombie films focus on physical infections, someone getting bitten or scratched, just exposed to a virus. In Pontypool, the threat isn't physical at all. The threat is comprehension. The thing that makes us humans, our ability to communicate and understand each other, became the source of the danger. I also think the way this scene is filmed reinforces that idea. Notice how the camera stays inside the radio station with the characters. We don't suddenly cut to huge action scenes outside. Instead, we're trapped in the small space with them. The camera stays close to their faces as they are trying to understand what's happening. Because of that, we experience the outbreak exactly the way they do, through words, phone calls, radio broadcasts, and conversations. The movie forces us to rely on communication rather than observation. That choice is important because the radio station itself becomes part of the film's argument. A radio station exists to communicate with as many people as possible. Normally, that's positive. During emergencies, people turn on the radio for information and guidance, but in this scene, communication itself becomes dangerous. The very thing that is supposed to help them survive is actually spreading the infection. What makes it especially interesting is that the characters are trapped in a no-win situation. They can't keep talking because talking may spread the virus, but they also can't stop talking because people need the information. If they stay silent, they abandon the town. If they keep broadcasting, they make the infection spread. Speak and you might infect people, stay silent and you leave them alone. There isn't a good choice. It also changes the way that we view infected people. In most movies, the infected are presented as monsters and mindless killers, but the infected in Pontypool are different. They seem more confused than frightened. The repeat words struggle to communicate, and seeming to be trapped inside a language no longer works correctly. They aren't simply attacking people because they're evil, it's more like they're lost. The system they use to understand the world has been broken down, and they can't escape it. I also noticed during Dr. Mendez's performance, he's describing something that sounds completely impossible and absurd, but delivers it in a calm, scientific way. He isn't panicking. He talks about the end of normal communication as if he's explaining a medical diagnosis, and that's what makes the scene so unsettling. You expect an emotional reaction, but they get a calm reaction, which is honestly terrifying. That contrast makes the threat even more real. Sound is also incredibly important in this scene. Since the movie takes place largely inside a radio station, sound becomes more important than visuals. The tension isn't when zombies are attacking people, but when they're listening. We hear voices, broadcast reports, and conversations. The movie makes language dangerous. It's fitting because the film's central idea is that words have power. Instead of making us afraid of monsters, Pontypool makes us afraid of communication. That's why this scene is the heart of the movie. It reveals the outbreak spreads the way information does. One person hears something, understands it, passes it on. The infection moves throughout the community the way messages move through mass media. By the end of the scene, the characters realize that communication is both the problem and only tool they have left. They need language to understand what's happening, but language is also what's destroying the world around them. For me, that's the film's main message. Pontypool uses zombies to explore the power of mass communication and the dangers of the media. The real horror isn't just the infected people outside the station, it's the possibility that something as ordinary as understanding a word could become deadly.